you know, if you're walking down a high street on the third Saturday in April and there's a queue outside your big shop, you're naturally inquisitive and you're going to be inclined to say what's going on. But it kind of reminds me of when I was a kid. Monday morning was the day you would get your new release records, and I would go to the record store every Monday morning, go and buy whatever was out, and that kind of brings that excitement back. I think it was a few years ago, one of the smaller, more like regional stores down in Devon said, we haven't had queues outside our record store since like the mid-80s. I was like, yeah, it's pretty good, right?
Welcome to the launch for Record Store Day 2015. So Spencer, you brought this thing to the UK back in 2008. Why did you do that?
I just love record stores and love that culture about going to them, finding something that you never knew, you didn't even know you wanted, and it just felt like it would be a good thing to do, and it felt like it would be fun. And I asked a few other people in stores that I knew around the country, and they were like, yeah, whatever, I'll do it. It kind of grows every year, and every year you think, oh, you just can't get any bigger because there's no way, and it does. So, you know, and it's important. It kind of sounds stupid, but it is really important that independent stores, not just record stores, but all stores, but you know, if you love music and you buy music, then generally you buy it on vinyl. Well, you should do. Because it's sexy, it's just cool. If you haven't been to a record store day is the day to go. It's a really good day to go and experience why record stores are important.
Live for Record Store Day 2015, it is the Coronas!
Thank you.
18th of April is when Record Store Day is happening. Start saving now. Embrace it, get involved. It is absolutely fantastic.
Record Store Day came into being in 2007, when over 700 independent stores in the USA came together to celebrate their unique culture. The UK followed suit, and 2015 will see the 8th celebration of the UK's unique independent sector. This is the one day that all of the independently owned record stores come together with artists to celebrate the art of music. Special vinyl and CD releases and various promotional products are made exclusively for the day. And hundreds of artists across the globe make special appearances and performances. In 2014, over 1 million vinyl records were sold in the UK, the highest number of sales in 18 years. This sudden revival has led the official weekly charts to announce the introduction of the top 40 best-selling singles in both 7-inch and 12-inch formats, as well as albums. In the UK, Record Store Day has gone from 2 stores to 225, with 27 new stores signing for 2015. 75% of the releases are also from independent labels this year. This documentary plans to demonstrate an insight into both Record Store Day and the apparent vinyl resurgence from both record store representatives and the public.
Well, this is the second Sister Ray store. This one's the vinyl only store in Shoreditch. So the previous one has been around since the 80s in Soho, and that's been involved with Record Store Day since the very first year it started. And we've only been trading here 7 months at this point, so this will be our first Record Store Day here. And I've been involved with it before my previous store, which was in Brighton, called Rounder Records, and we did a few Record Store Days there as well. Well, I certainly hope so, because we've just opened the vinyl shop. Yeah, I mean, CDs are clearly now on the way down and out. Vinyl sales have been increasing for some years in a row. It's still not obviously anywhere near the levels it was in the sort of 70s and 80s, and it never will be that. But, you know, it's increased to such a point that you can now sort of open the shop saying, well, I hope so. People who are out buying their first record, asking where they can get a turntable, buying their first sort of classics, you know, the first copy of the Velvet Underground, or the first copy of, you know, on Scream or Screamadelica or whatever, you know, some sort of classic album from their childhood, starting their collection. A whole load of people who want to pick up some record store day items who don't normally come into record shops, which I guess is kind of the point of the day in some respects. And they'll probably look at record shops around town and work out where they've got the best chance of getting what it is they want. So there will be some regular customers, I'm sure, and there will also be some people who've never been here before.
Fundamentally and essentially, it's brilliant. Some of the issues that have arisen due to the success and popularity of records today are factors such as there's not enough manufacturing plants, so that's the problem that needs to be addressed for massive manufacturing plants to open the UK, lift the lid on, lift the ceiling on where we've got to at the moment, which is bursting really. I mean, there's the potential. There's a real renaissance in people buying vinyl, and it's across all age groups, teenagers. You know, in '94 I remember I was working in this environment, not for rough trade, so I remember who was buying the Oasis album and the Stone Roses' Second Coming in '94, '95, and it's largely those two albums that made up a big percentage of all vinyl sales for that year. So when people say, you know, these are the strongest vinyl sales for 20 years, actually it's probably more like 25 years of being listed. But the people that were buying them then were predominantly male, they were predominantly people that have been still sort of sticking to vinyl as a format. Whereas now, you've got lots of teenage girls buying vinyl, for example, and you've got all gamut of releases coming out, and generally they're still niche kind of quantities, but you know, there's a real rejuvenation. It's completely different from '94, because then it was the people that were buying it, they'd been buying it for years, so it was it was a declining market, and now it's the other way. I'd like to think Record Store Days sort of helps rejuvenate the market. I mean, it's probably done a little bit. Day is full of entertainment, it's stuff for kids, you know, we've got, you know, really interesting acts performing pretty much continually and DJing. There's a brilliant vibe in the place. Obviously there's a massive buzz because everyone's excited about buying records that theoretically are only available for the day.
I started Badlands with my brother Stephen, who sadly passed away in 2013, but we started it together in 1985, so this year's our 30th anniversary. We run a Bruce Springsteen fan club, which we've done since we sort of started that properly in 88, 89, and we run trips to concerts all over the world to see Bruce and other people as well, so we do other stuff as well. So yeah, obviously it's much quieter through the shop, but and we sell a lot online and on eBay and Amazon, which is, you know, it's not what we set out to do, but it needs must. The first record store day I was aware of or got more involved in was probably about 6 years ago. 2010 was when we said, oh, let's have a little party in the afternoon, and we got a local pub just down the street, and we put a couple of local bands on, and so that's the first one I was involved with. And now we put a gig on in a nightclub in town every year. We got people coming from all over Europe to it, so it's great. Well, all over the country, and 2 people from Europe. I come down, you know, 7 o'clock, 7:30, and there's the queue outside. There's a line of people, and it's usually people I've known who've shopped here for years, so, or a lot of them are. So that's nice, you know, that's a good thing. I think one year there was lots of little girls coming in for something. It wasn't One Direction, it was one of those other bands. They sent us cassettes to hide around the shop, so there's all these little kids coming in looking for them. That's great, you know, good luck to them, that's good. I went to a meeting of record shop owners last year, and people were moaning about this, about it, that, about it, how it should be different. I don't know what people want. It's great. It's, if anything, it's a victim of its own success, I guess. I think some of the small independent labels are moaning that it's all been hijacked by the majors. But, you know, there's plenty of independent releases out this year from the good labels. Badlands, we managed to put a Record Store Day title out 4 years ago. We decided to do it in January of that year and managed to get it out on time just. It's a compilation, it's got 4 bands on it, and including the Magic Numbers and Danny and the Champs. So it is possible for independent labels to do it. It is what it is, and it's fantastic. It's a great day, and we make the most of it. We possibly can. We embrace it, we enjoy it. Great for turnover. You know, we sell a lot of records, get a load left over as well. You know, it's tough, it's difficult, because there's around about 600 exclusive releases, and you've got to work out how many to buy. It's firmly in the calendar now, isn't it? I think it's been embraced by the labels, the shops, you know, the public. As I said earlier, a lot of what we do is online, and there were times probably where we thought, well, maybe we should just work from a warehouse, you know, but Record Store Day kind of makes it all worthwhile because it's such great fun.
Out in the suburbs, a young girl lies. She lives as a thunderstorm in her parents' eyes. But I never knew those games that you play. Well, I never knew them at all. But I never knew those games that you play. But I never knew them at all.
I mean, I know when I go into a record store, I go straight to where the new arrivals are because that's like the freshest stuff.
Yeah.
But it's a weird concept because ultimately, like, sometimes that's all people go through, and they don't like go through everything. I always know when it's somebody that's a tourist because they go through everything. They go through
Right, I see.
every
Yeah.
Like they go through every record in here.
Touching
I know
everything.
that's more than But
We won't do that then when we start.
no, I don't.
Well, it's the age-old thing that's been like every past few decades of people saying vinyl is back. I mean, it's been around. There are more people buying records per se, but you know, it's kind of diluted. It's not the same as it used to be, where people were really motivated to buy, like to investigate new things per se, because everything they can listen to things in advance online, and just, you know, like the element of discovery I think is kind of like lacking, because people just like to be like they're fed what they hear. They can go online and just say, oh, I don't know if I like this, you know. Where you used to be going to a record store and like see a record and be like, oh wow, that looks cool, and just buy it, you know. I know I've heard about it. I didn't really know what it was. I thought it was kind of like some corporate leanings to try and sell. Like I didn't really understand the concept, you know. I mean, at that time, I know I was just selling used records, so like even if it were like anything that would be new, I wouldn't really like want to deal with. With Record Store Day, obviously certain Record Store Day things, people that just they buy this stuff to flip it on eBay within hours of like some certain records coming out, like these guys are just like, I know actually people, and it's not much different from the mentality of people that go and like search for used stuff to resell it. It brings out this sort of, hustler mentality that is actually really assimilated with this business, which is basically you're going to go out and you got to find stuff, and you're ultimately like trying to make a profit. You know, you may not, like some people are less passionate about music per se, but they're doing it to make money. You know, and it's an easier occupation than getting up in the morning, and like you can go and hit a bunch of stores and buy a bunch of Record Store Day things, and you can have a pretty good payday, you know. Oh, well, I like when they reissue something that's interesting, that's, you know, like a Devo live thing or something from a while, you know. It's just, you know, more esoteric things, you know. There's pluses and minuses to getting things, because you want to sell things all the time. So if you it's like anything else. You never know. We can't, even when you're buying new things in general, like we try and stock interesting stuff that the other stores don't have. So we're always going to distributors and trying to like predict what's going to sell. It's cross-pollinating because like people are going to look for something, people look for certain things, and one store will have it and another store won't, you know. It's relative, you know. I think the better stores are going to like just constantly try and like, you know, have stuff, you know, be on it.
I would say in the last few years, many more young people who are getting into vinyl for the first time and like trying to rediscover classics, or, you know, they inherited like records from their parents, something like that, and they're trying to like add some modern stuff to it. So yeah, it's much more varied than it used to be. We heard about it because we didn't participate, we didn't know about it yet, and a few people called in the week leading up asking if we had releases. So then we were like, oh, let's look into this thing, and then by the next year we started doing it, and then the next year after that was when it really became pretty huge. The first year that it got really big, it was crazy right when we opened.
Yeah.
But then, you know, probably around 5 or 6, there were still people coming in, but it wasn't crazy. Then the last 2 years, it's been like pretty much from open to close, a continual stream of people either waiting in line or kind of filling up the shop. I mean, there's so many titles now.
Yeah.
So we still try to kind of keep it somewhat focused to like what our kind of core vibe is as a store. But then we also buy stuff that just like super in demand that we wouldn't normally carry, and it brings people into the store that might not necessarily come here. They will make a point to say like, oh, we came here on record store day. And I think like for a shop like this, any shop that looks a little boutique-y, some people will be intimidated because they'll think that they don't know any of the music or something. So it's like a nice bridge for people that might feel intimidated to come into a small store in New York, come here on record store day. Everybody's friendly, it's a very welcoming vibe, and they'll get a chance to see that we have a bunch of underground stuff, but we also have, you know, mainstream stuff as well, if it fits within the umbrella of stuff that we like. Yeah, I mean, there's all sorts of market research that suggests so, but then on just like the day-to-day level, the vinyl resurgence here has been felt very strongly. Now it's like we're refocusing on vinyl again. It's a huge, we kind of always looked at it as like the blood of the store, like it keeps people coming in. You don't make a lot of money on it, especially if it's new vinyl, but it's like fun for us. We're all music heads, and it keeps people as regular customers. But now it's like it still serves that purpose, but it's also like a money-making thing again. Because, you know, there's so many people looking to build up their collections, so you can buy new stuff, you can get like catalog classics that people should own that they don't because they haven't had a collection before, and it's just like reinvigorated the whole shopping experience for vinyl. Mostly people buying house and techno are DJs, mostly people buying disco edits and like classic disco are DJs or like collectors, but then like just the average person that comes in who just got a turntable or buys like a couple records a week, they're usually going for stuff like, you know, a Cure album or the Smiths or Radiohead, stuff like that. You know, all like great classics, but they're much more well known, obviously. Or like Tribe Called Quest, Outkast, you know, Kendrick, D'Angelo, all that stuff. It's stuff that's huge, but it's huge for a reason because it's great and classic, or it's great and new. So I'd say probably hip hop, rock are the two most volume, but we do a lot within all the different genres.
All the face, your head is still young and encased with things I have found. Turn me around, all to fall in love. Strangers side by side, while your head is still young, you've got time.
The record store day is a special day, so you don't see a lot of people you don't see usually. Yeah, we don't buy much new stuff, but you know, it's busy day. Everything from like teenager to like, you know, the older guy.
Each previous year, like, we always saw more the next year, so now it's sort of like neck and neck with CDs, whereas for a while it was the other way around, where CDs we sold more of and we didn't stock as much vinyl, but now almost everything that comes out on CD comes out on LP, so we try to have both, you know. We participated in it the first year it happened. Yeah, I've been doing it ever since. I mean, we really like Record Store Day because it's exciting for us to like sort of, we plan a whole day's worth of events, like we have DJs and sometimes we have live music in the store during Record Store Day, and people are really excited, and for the most part people are really like just stoked and respectful and happy and stuff like that to come in and like get all these limited releases. And you know, say what you will about the people who are gonna buy stuff to flip it, you know, but that's inevitably gonna happen, like with anything, with records that come out every week, you know, people buy them for whatever reason, so I only see it as a positive, yeah.
There are two trains of thought when it comes to Record Store Day. Everyone agrees that it is a positive for getting punters, new and old, through the doors of the independent record stores, which is primarily great for business and a boost for young up-and-coming indie bands. However, as Record Store Day has grown year on year, the big record companies have suddenly seen a new outlet to sell the product of their major artists. The likes of Bob Dylan, David Bowie, Bruce Springsteen, Coldplay, Mumford & Sons, they've all produced exclusive releases for Record Store Day. Some say this is laudable, that major artists would support the little guys, but the cynicals state that this is a sellout and not done in the spirit of what Record Store Day was all about. As a music fan, I think it is a win-win situation. The fans of these artists are getting exclusive material that they would otherwise not have, whilst the record stores are getting much needed exposure, which is demonstrated in the massive upsurge in the sales of vinyl.
It's grown and grown. Initially it might have been like a handful of vinyl, whereas now it's obviously grown into taking over half the shop. But so yeah, it's been several years, more than 6. Seeing grown men and women getting excited, jumping up and down outside the shutters over vinyl is brilliant. Even, you know, kids in their teenage years kind of being introduced to the format. You know, it's a real event, you know, it's something to get excited about, and especially Record Store Day being kind of limited pressings of titles that necessarily have been released in the past or re-releases. Yeah, it's a really good way of introducing people to the format, and I think Record Store Day does it really well. It's an international event for independent record stores. You know, it's like a lot of people buy vinyl online, whereas doing it this way, you can flick through, it's like, you know, it's got that kind of what you're going to find kind of aspect to it, and you can only get that in an independent record shop. Pretty much like our second Christmas as far as business goes. The preparation for it is for months beforehand, not just the days before, it's a month. You know, we're organising DJs playing, bands playing, even the staffing is down to the small details, takes a long time to do. And then obviously when we start getting all the stock in, all of it's going to be processed, bagged up nicely, made to look pretty. So yeah, it's a really busy time for us, but we relish it here. We love it, it's great. For me, it's the highlight of the year.
Don't worry. What you do is different. A much too mature way. It's not
for her, Luke?
Oh, it's horrible.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Left you at your windowsill. I left you with tears in your eyes. Fell to my knees that night and I kept my hands so tight.
I started queuing yesterday at 10 o'clock. No, this is number 4.
This is my first record store day. This is my 3rd or 4th.
No, I've been to a couple. This is my 3rd.
No, it's about our 4th. I'm given a list by my partner every year, and that's why I have to go and get. It's the first time I've actually been able to come to one. Yeah, I knew about it last year, but I did drive, but I can't remember. I think I was working, so I couldn't do anything, and I bought stuff online eventually.
Get you to heal your body. Get you to heal your heart. Whatsoever is so you will be. Get it together. Now you can fly, 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 fly. And you can fly, 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 fly. And you can fly, 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 fly. You can win, you can die.
Good afternoon, happy record store day. Let's buy records. We need to keep buying these records.
White blanket in a swelling rage. Tell me now, where was my fault in loving you with my whole heart? But that only happens when it's raining. Players only love you when they're playing. You say you win, they will come and they will go. And when the rain washes you clean, you know. You will know. You will know. You will know. Now you know. You will know.
It's amazing. Gets people into the shops, doesn't it? One of the things I hate about the future, so to speak, is the release of digital music, and there's no physical aspect of just buying records. So, you know, the more that we get people out here buying physical forms of music, the better.
It's really fun, expensive, and it's a really nice vibe that everyone's talking outside and having a chat and getting up early, and it's really good for the record industry as well. Not necessarily good for my bank balance, but it's good.
Just a great idea, really good. Gets kids interested in vinyl again. Keeps people interested, keeps it going. So really, really good for us.
It's great fun. It's a brilliant experience, like the whole atmosphere.
like getting up really early in the morning, coming down, and like all great music playing. Yeah, it's really good.
It's not actually as manic as I expected, so it's just more like exciting.
It's a real mixed thing because the communal thing is brilliant, so the meeting of fellow collectors and people who stop and talk is really knowledgeable. But then there's a little bit of antipathy towards it in a sense because certain things are put out and they're not put out for collectors, they're put out for people so they can go onto eBay. So I will find this on eBay this afternoon for about 27 quid.
It's the one day of the year that I get up ready to stand outside the shop at 4 o'clock in the morning. There's been like the same 5 of us pretty much in the first 5 people in the queue here for the last 5 years. Don't see them the rest of the year, don't even know each other's names, but we talk about music.
But nice vibes. Yeah.
Dedication. It's dedication from the shops that let vinyl go away. It's dedication from indie labels that keep these new artists coming out. And it's dedication from people that are prepared to wait 6 hours.
The best thing ever. It's great.
Some they say I'm wishing my days away. You say I guess it's the price I pay. You say tomorrow's another day. You say I may as well play. Bum ba dum da dum 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 the bum ba dum bum ba dum the bum ba dum. Some they say I'm wishing my days away. You say I guess it's the price I pay. You say tomorrow's another day. You say I may as well play.
Just settling and the final bell's gone, I guess, isn't there? That's the bulk of it done, really. Just wait till next year now. Sold loads of records, people queuing up from 10 o'clock last night, which is commitment for you, I guess. And then we let them in at 8 o'clock this morning. It's great fun, good day. It's growing on last year, actually. It was surprising. It felt quieter, but maybe the punters were just more well behaved or more organised or what, but yeah. Good. Go home and play what we bought and yeah, look forward to the next one really.
heroes and villains. My hands are full of sickness and my teeth keep falling out. I'm not what you would call gracious, and I can't help but show the shame. It tears my skull apart and unravels my brain. So long, heartbreak, you've come to your grave. Please someone lay me down.
bought was Abbey Road, definitely. £1.99.
I got given Queen's Greatest Hits when I was young, 8 or 9, singing Fat Bottom Girls at the top of my voice in my bedroom is probably the best memory I can vinyl.
Strangler's Golden Brown, long time ago.
It's a Bright Eyes box set from Swordfish Records in Birmingham. Before I got a turntable and I saw it and it got exclusive tracks, and I was like, I'll buy that and get the turntable later.
Don't want to know what my first record was that I bought. It was Tiffany.
Yeah, it was a Sex Pistols one, which is weird because I'm not even a massive fan. I was just like really excited about it, so I bought it. I think I bought it more because of my dad than myself. So yeah, like from a charity shop, it was like £3.
I did think it was Guns N' Roses. Recently, my mum found some more records and loved it. Turns out it was a great on the street charity centre.
I've still got the first record I ever purchased, and that was a 7-inch single by the KLS called Last Train to China Central.
It's like the Little Red Corvette by Prince, called the theme from the Muppets. I mean, the credible answer is probably the first one, but the more likely true answer is probably the second one. It wasn't the Muppets, it was Fraggle Rock.
The very first record I bought was Prince, Purple Rain, actually. And that was like pretty mind-blowing.
Yeah, I think it was Sgt. Pepper's. Yeah, I was really excited.
Squeeze, Full of Muscles from a Shell Pit, vinyl.
Oh, that's a tough one. Yeah. Favorite record? Gotta edit this long pause out. Make it look like I was real decisive. Favorite record? That's hard. Diggable Planets Below Comb is one of my all-time favorites. Among others, but that one comes to mind. So.
It changes all the time, but probably Disintegration by The Cure or Young Team by Mod 1.
Pearl Jam, Nothing Much.
Probably Foo Fighters, Echo Silence, Resurgence, my favourite.
Probably White Stripes, first album.
Favorite record of all time? Probably the first Ramones album or something.
Wow,
like that's probably the album that I couldn't never live without. You know, I really need that New York punk kind of stuff.
Either Revolver by the Beatles or probably Had a Little Line to Melody.
Probably My Generation.
Favourite record is A Wizard, A True Start by Todd Rundgren.
Fantastic. Brilliant stuff.
Have you ever heard it?
I can't say I haven't, but
On the page.
brilliant.